In this video, we will be assessing flexibility using 4 different tests: Canadian Trunk Forward Flexion Test, which is a standard sit and reach, YMCA sit and reach, chair sit and reach, and the Thomas test. The equipment needed will be sit and reach box, yardstick, tape, folding chair with a seat height of 17 inches, an 18-inch ruler, paper, pencil, and a mat. Prior to testing, perform a short 5 to 10 minute aerobic warm-up. Beginning with the Canadian Trunk Forward Flexion Test, which is testing hamstring and lower back flexibility, shoes should be removed prior to the test. Instruct the client to sit with feet flat against the box. Place one hand on top of the other so you don't have the tendency to lead with one hand. Reach forward slowly as far as possible while exhaling and hold the final position for 2 seconds. Make sure the knees are not bent at any time during this assessment. This test is scored in centimeters and must be completed twice, with the best of the two taken as a final score. My final score was 38.5 centimeters, and I am 24, which placed me in the very good category after subtracting 3 centimeters from each value in the table. Next is the YMCA sit and reach test, which is testing the flexibility of the hamstrings and the lower back. Sit and place a yardstick between the legs and place a strip of tape at the 15-inch mark line of the yardstick. Feet should be placed at the edge of the tape mark about 10 to 12 inches apart. Again, reaching forward as far as possible while exhaling with hands placed on top of one another. Hold the end position for 2 seconds, keeping the fingers on the stick. The knee should be straight and the head a neutral spine. This test is scored in inches and should be performed twice, with the best of the two taken as the score. I reached for 19 inches, which placed me in the average category. The chair sit and reach test is usually done for older populations because they have functional limitations, but the test still measures hamstring and lower back flexibility. Use a chair that is 17 inches in height, placed against a wall. Sit at the edge of the chair and extend the testing leg with the ankle dorsiflexed, keeping the other leg flat on the floor. With hands on top of one another, slowly bend down, reaching for the extended leg, trying to touch the toes while exhaling. Hold the final position for 2 seconds. This test is measured in inches and the ruler should be placed parallel to the big toe. The space between the big toe and fingertips is negative. If the fingers go past the big toe, it is counted as positive. Touching the toes is scored as 0. Lastly, we have the Thomas test, which assesses the flexibility of the hip flexors. Lie on the floor in a supine position, which is flat on your back. Bring the leg that is not being tested to your chest. If the leg being tested remains in contact with the floor during the motion, then the hip flexors of that leg are considered flexible. But if the tested leg rises, the hip flexors are considered inflexible. This test is scored as flexible or inflexible. A second person is needed to assist and each leg must be tested. Neither of my legs remained in contact with the floor, so both of my hip flexors are considered inflexible.